and torrents tortuous. From sheer cliffs hang vines and creepers. On hollow heights stand cypress and pine. The cranes cackle in morning mist, and geese call from the clouds of dawn. Tall and erect like halberds are the peaks. Jagged and rough huge boulders pile up. The summit soars 10,000 feet. The peak rises in 1,000 turns. Conscious of spring, wild woods and flowers bloom. Moved by the sights, nightjars and orioles sing. It may seem lofty and grand. It's in truth a precipice. That's bizarre, rugged, treacherous, and hard. Stop and enjoy it, but no man's in sight. You hear only tigers and leopards growl. Musk and white deer will wander as they please. Jade hare and green wolves will come and go. A deep brook flows out to 1,000 miles. Its eddies gurgling as they strike the rocks. On the mountain ledge, the great sage was searching for his way when he caught sight of 4 persons herding 3 goats down the western slope and shouting, "Begins prosperity." Blinking his fiery eyes with diamond pupils, the great sage stared more carefully and perceived that they were the 4 sentinels of year, month, day, and hour approaching in disguises. Immediately whipping out his iron rod, which, with one wave, attained the thickness of a rice bowl and a length of about 12 feet, the great sage leapt down from the ledge and shouted, "Where do you dirty sneaks think you are going?" When the 4 sentinels saw that he had penetrated their disguises, they were so terrified that they shooed away the goats and changed back into their true forms. Stepping to the side of the road to make their bows, they said, "Great sage, please forgive us, because I haven't asked for your services for a long time." Said Pilgrim, "You think Old Monkey has become indulgent. Every one of you, in fact, has turned slothful since you haven't shown up once to present yourself to me. What have you got to say to that? Why aren't you all giving secret protection to my master? Where are you off to? Your master has backslid a little," replied one of the sentinels. "Because he has been indulging in pleasures at the Mercy Cloud Temple of the Gold Level Prefecture. His extreme prosperity has produced negativity, and the fullness of his happiness has become grief. Now he has been captured by some monstrous deviates, but at least he has the guardians of monastery at his side to give him protection. We know that the great sage has been giving chase all through the night. Fearing that the great sage might not know his way in this mountain forest, we have come especially to make it known to you. If you wanted to do that," said Pilgrim, "why did you do it in such a secretive manner? Herding 3 goats and shouting this and that, what for?" The sentinel said, "We brought along these 3 goats in order to symbolize the saying, 'With 3 young begins prosperity.' That symbol should break up and dispel your master's misfortune." Pilgrim was angrily threatening to beat them, but when he heard their intention, his anger turned to delight, and he decided to spare them. Putting away his rod, he said, "Is this the mountain where the monster spirit lives?" "Indeed, it is," replied the sentinel. "This is the Green Dragon Mountain, in which there is a mysterious flower cave. Inside the cave are 3 monster spirits. The eldest is named Great King Cold Deterrent, the second, Great King Heat Deterrent, and the third, Great King Dust Deterrent. They have lived here for 1,000 years. Since their youth, they have been fond of eating that specially blended fragrant oil. When they became spirits in years past, they came here disguised as the images of Buddha to dupe the officials and people of the Gold Level Prefecture into setting up these golden lamps and using that specially blended fragrant oil as fuel. By mid-month of the first month every year, they would assume the forms of Buddha to collect oil. When they saw your master this year, they recognized that he had the body of a sage monk, and they abducted him into their cave. In no time, they will want to cut off your master's flesh and sauté it with that fragrant oil for food. You must work quickly to rescue him." On hearing this, Pilgrim dismissed the 4 sentinels and went past the mountain ledge to search for the cave. He had not gone more than a few miles when he came upon a huge boulder, beneath which was a stone house with 2 half-closed stone doors. By the side of the door was a stone tablet with these 6 words: Green Dragon Mountain, Mysterious Flower Cave. Not daring to walk straight in, Pilgrim stood still and called out, "Monstrous fiend, send my master out quickly." With a loud creak the doors were flung open and out ran several bull-headed spirits. Rather glumly and stupidly, they asked, "Who are you that you dare make all these noises here?" "I'm the senior disciple of the sage monk Tripitaka Tang," replied Pilgrim, "who was sent by the great Tang in the land of the East to seek scriptures. We passed through the Gold Level Prefecture, and while we were watching the lanterns, my master was kidnapped by your household's demon chieftains. Return him early and I'll spare your lives. If you don't, I'll overturn your den and reduce you spirits to pus and blood." On hearing this, those little monsters hurried inside to say, "Great kings, disaster! Disaster!" The 3 old monsters had brought the Tang monk deep into the cave, where without any further interrogation they were ordering their subordinates to have him stripped and scrubbed clean by water pumped from the well. They were making plans, too, to cut him or dice him so that his flesh could be sautéed for food with that specially blended fragrant oil. When they suddenly heard this announcement of disaster, number 1 was astonished enough to ask why. "In front of our main door," replied one of the little monsters. "There is a monk with a hairy face and a thunder god beak. He claims that our great kings have abducted his master to this place and demands that he be sent out at once. Then he'll spare our lives. But if we don't do that, he will overturn our den and reduce us all to pus and blood." All alarmed by what they heard, the older monsters said, "We just caught this fellow, and we haven't yet had a chance to question him about his name or where he came from. Little ones, put his clothes back on him, and bring him over here for us to interrogate him. Who is he anyway, and where does he come from?" The monsters rushed forward and untied the Tang monk. After they had dressed him, they pushed him before the seats of the old monsters. Trembling all over, the Tang monk knelt down and could only cry, "Great kings, spare me! Please spare me!" "Where did you come from, monk?" asked the 3 monster spirits in unison. "When you saw the forms of Buddha, why did you not step aside? Why did you impede our cloudy path?" As he kowtowed, the Tang monk said, "This humble cleric is someone sent by the throne of the great Tang in the land of the East, someone on his way to seek scriptures from the Buddhist patriarch at the great Thunderclap Monastery in the Kingdom of India. Because I went to the Mercy Cloud Temple at the Gold Level Prefecture to beg for a meal, I was asked by the priests of that temple to stay through the Lantern Festival and enjoy the lights. When the great kings revealed themselves in the forms of Buddha on the Golden Lamp Bridge, this humble cleric, who has only fleshly eyes and mortal frame, nonetheless has the desire to worship Buddha whenever he beholds his image. That is the reason why I impeded your cloudy path. It is a long way from your land of the East to this place," said those monster spirits. "How many people are there altogether in your entourage? Tell us quickly, and we'll spare your life." "My secular name is Chen Shenzang," replied the Tang monk, "and I have been raised a monk in the Gold Mountain Monastery since my youth. Later, I was appointed a monk official by the Tang Emperor at the Temple of Great Blessing. On account of Prime Minister Wei Zhang's execution of an old dragon of the Jing River in his dream, the Tang Emperor made a tour of Hades and then returned to life. To provide redemption for the lost souls of darkness, he convened the grand mass of land and water and graciously selected me as the chief priest in charge of the ceremony and the exposition of scriptures. It was at that time that the Bodhisattva Gwen Shiyin revealed herself to enlighten this humble cleric, announcing to us that there were 3 canons of true scriptures at the great Thunderclap Monastery in the Western Heaven. These scriptures, she said, could provide deliverance for the deceased and enable them to ascend to heaven. The Tang Emperor therefore sent this humble cleric to fetch the scriptures. He bestowed on me the style, Tripitaka, and the surname of Tang. That's why people all address me as Tripitaka Tang. I have 3 disciples. The first one's surname is Sin, and his names are Wukong and Pilgrim. He is actually the converted great sage, equal to heaven. Greatly startled by the last name they heard, the monsters said, "Is this great sage, equal to heaven, the person who caused great disturbance in the celestial palace 500 years ago?" "Indeed, he is," said the Tang monk. "My second disciple has the surname of Zhu, and his given names are Wu Neng and 8 rules. He is the incarnation of the marshal of heavenly reeds. My third disciple has the surname of Sha, and his given names are Wu Jing and monk. He is the curtain-raising general who has descended to earth." When they heard this, all 3 of those monster kings were alarmed. "It's a good thing we haven't eaten him yet," they said. "Little ones, let's chain the Tang monk in the rear. Let's wait till we capture his 3 disciples so that we can eat them together." Then they called up a herd of spirits, all mountain buffaloes, water buffaloes, and yellow buffaloes. Each grasping a weapon, they walked out of the front door where with a trumpet signal, they waved their banners and rolled the drums.